Alright everyone, welcome back again to more Umineko. With the return of Kinzo, or should I say Kinzo finally meeting his family for, well, the first time in this particular part of the series, considering we've never really seen him make any appearances to his family until now, it goes to show that I'm still of the belief this may not be the Kinzo that we know. It may be a false one, or it could be the same Kinzo, but this time he's actually going through with the ritual. So, anything's possible right now, guys, so we're going to continue on and see how this goes. So I hope you all continue to enjoy watching. Thank you again for all the love and support. Let's do this.
夢と未来、奇跡と可能性は我が魔力の源泉だ。希望をなくしていかなる魔法も力を持ちはしない。すでに凡百であることを証明してしまったお前たちには何を期待することも叶わないが。なるほど。孫たちには未来の可能性があり、魔法的奇跡を期待する価値はあり得るというわけか。それをもって100億以上の価値と言ってみせるなら、わからぬでもない。
When Kinzo got in a rage, he wouldn't let anyone talk back. But even so, while yelling by himself, he would sometimes convince himself of something all of his own accord, and change his own opinion. That's what this felt like to the siblings. Apparently, even though Kinzo had become absolutely fed up with his shoddy children, and had cast them away as being unfit for the inheritance of his title or his fortune, he wasn't so sure about his grandchildren. At this rate, he might soon say that the inheritance would go to his grandchildren instead of the siblings. As the siblings sat in fear of what their fickle and short-tempered father would suddenly think of next, they carefully watched his every move.
考えを少し改めよ。お前たちに我が全てを継承する気は全くない。しかし、孫たちの誰かにその資格があるかどうかを問うのはなかなかに面白いことだ。いつまでも子供だと思っておったが、ひょっとすると、私を驚かせるような原石のきらめきを見せてくれるかもしれぬ。そしてそれを期待し試すのは、なるほど。我が余生最後の道楽としても捨てがたい。
ジョージなら、お父様の後を継ぐにふさわしいと、私は自信を持って推薦できます。
Eva exclaimed that right away. Natsuki looked like she was about to follow along, but Kraus gave her a look telling her to restrain herself, so she swallowed her words.
勇ましいではないか。では、こうしよう。後宮家の家督と財産のすべてを受け継ぐ資格があるかどうか、孫たちに個別に問おうではないか。
お父様！
しかし！それはお前たちの誰かに間接的に家督を引き継ぐという意味ではない。お前たちにはすでに失望しているのだ。お前たちに与えるものは、今や何もない。何もな。私が問うのは孫たちだ。そして、引き継ぐかもしれないのも孫たちだ。それを決して勘違いするな。
お父さんの判断に従います。
同じくだ。親父の決定に従うぜ。なあ、姉貴。
もちろんよ。お父様が賢明な判断をされると信じています。
私もお父様の判断に従います。
孫たちをどのように試すかは考えよう。そしてそれはお前たちには今さら関係のない話だ。 当主継承とお前たちはもはや何の関係もないのだから。だからこの場ではお前たちに関係のあるもう一つの話をしようではないか。
もう一つの話とは。
それこそが今宵の、そして後宮家最後の親族会議の本当の理由だ。お前たちに求めるのは議論でも意見でもない。我が儀式に協力を求めるためだ。
儀式？
静かに！お父様がお話をなさっている最中よ。
Rudolph and the rest automatically knitted their brows at the occult-like word ritual. Was he talking about starting a strange ritual involving Beatrice's resurrection again? He was demanding that they help. What in the world was he planning to start? In the past, he had carried out many eccentricities that he called by the same name, such as lighting a strange incense and filling the whole mansion with the stench. To the siblings, a ritual was nothing more than one of the aged Kinzo's obnoxious hobbies.
お父さん、儀式とは一体。
私たちに協力できることなら何でもご協力します。ねえ、ローザ。
ええ。でも、一体何を？
私が碑文に刻んだ通りの儀式だ。ベアトリーチェを蘇らせ、黄金鏡の扉を開く儀式である。肉体の檻を逃れ、私の指の隙間を嘲笑うようにすり抜けるあの魔女を、今度こそ捕らえ、屈服させる私の最大の秘術だ。そのために、13人もの命を生贄に捧げねばならぬがな。13人もの生贄は容易には集まらぬ。しかし、今宵は親族会議。これだけの大人数が六軒島に集まった。この儀式が行えるのは、今日を置いて他にないのだ。
Taken literally, it could only sound as though he was telling them to die as sacrifices for his disturbing ritual. Ridiculous. Was this some kind of metaphor? But they didn't even have a clue what he was trying to tell them through this analogy. The siblings whispered together, wondering what Kinzo was saying.
親父は何を言ってるんだ。いつもの悪い病気か？
だろうな。しばらく黙って聞いてやる。
ごめんなさい、お父様。どういう意味でおっしゃられているのか、わかりかねます。
何がわかりかねるというのか。私は至極単純に話している。ベアトリーチェを蘇らせる儀式のために、この島にいる人間から13人を選び、生贄に捧げようと言っている。何の価値もないお前たちも、我が儀式の生贄としてなら、大いに役に立てるというわけだ。うはははは。聞け！これは冗談でも何でもない。我が人生の最後に欲する最後の賭け、最後の儀式である。この島には今、13人を超える人間がいる。つまり、この膨大な数の生贄を容易に満たせるだけの頭数が存在するというわけだ。お前たちは我が儀式の生贄となれ。
金蔵さん、あんた、まさか、あの話は本気だったのかね？冗談ではなく。
Unusually for Nanjo, his face changed color and he stood up and shouted. It seemed this wasn't the first time Nanjo had all this dark talk about 13 sacrifices.
すまんな我が友よ。あれは冗談でもなんでもない。我が生涯を賭して最後に挑む儀式でありゲームなのだよ。そう、これはゲームだ。お前たちにとって我が財産を得て島を出ることがゴールならば、それを達する方法は二つしかない。13人の生贄から逃れ、見事生き残り、今更ながら非分の謎を解いて儀式を止めてみせるか。私を殺し、この儀式を止めてみせるか。この二つしかない。
By now, it was no longer whispering among those gathered there, but uneasy commotion. Even the siblings had noticed that Kinzo was beginning to act abnormally.
お父さん、少しお疲れなのでは。源氏さん、お父さんは少し酒を？
いいえ、親方様はご明晰であらせられます。
悪いけど親父、何を言い出すのかさっぱりだぜ。親父が愛する魔女を蘇らせるために、どんな怪しげな儀式を追っ始めても、そりゃ自由だぜ。親父の趣味なんだからな。だが、そいつに巻き込まれて、生贄にされるのはまっぴらごめんだぜ。
ルドルフ、お父様の話に口を挟む気？
何言ってんだ姉貴。こんな物騒な話に、はいそうですかでうなずけるわけねえだろ。
Was the ritual Kinzo had mentioned literally the frightening thing it seemed to be? Or was it some kind of test to choose his successor? It seemed that Rudolph had taken it as its disturbing face value. But Ava apparently still believed that it was something like a trial or examination to find the proper next head. But Kinzo's response to this was clear.
さて、私からの話は以上だ。異議も意見も何にも必要はない。4人の不出来なる息子たちがいたという私の夢が覚めるだけの話なのだ。お前たちにとってこれより目の前で起こることはまさに夢、幻、あるいはこの世のものと思えぬ理解に及ばぬ世界だろう。しかしそれこそが我が現実。お前たちという出来の悪き浅い夢は今こそようやく覚めるのだ。さあ、もうゲームは始まっているぞ。これだけいては誰から命を奪えばいいものやら。さらばだ、出来の悪き息子たちよ。そして生涯でただ一度、そして最後に私の儀式のために役に立て。いでよ、ペンドラゴンの記念兵たちよ。
As Kinzo raised his arms huge like an opera singer and yelled those words as though towards a packed audience. The air shattered like glass, and the figures of 3 people who hadn't been invited to this island appeared regardless.
シエスタ45、ここに。シエスタ410、ここに。
シエスタ00、ここにであります。
Oh, we got a new one. 3 girls with bizarre forms suddenly appeared behind Kinzo. Where from? When? Who? Who are they? The humans were thrown off balance and their minds went blank. And because they wasted time with such thoughts, they lost their last chance to survive.
お前たちには6人の射殺を許可する。標的は自由だ。攻撃開始。
自由射撃、了解であります。良き標的に感謝。自由射撃開始。
2匹。 一番乗りだにシャッハ
As 410 scratched the air with her finger, a golden bow appeared in an empty space and its string was pulled back. The golden arrow that had been readied there was fired off without any hesitation, flew around the room leaving haphazard gold trails everywhere. And from among those sitting at the table of the family conference, it chose Natsuhi and pulverized the left half of her face. Flesh and deep red blood splattered all around, leaving a massive amount of deep red splatter marks on the relatives' faces in the pure white tablecloth. There was silence. Despite the massive number of deep red blotches left on the tablecloth, even still, no one could understand why Natsuhi's head was half smashed, nor why she was hanging her head as though she dozed off in her chair. They watched these events in silence. Those sitting on the right-hand side from Natsuhi were silent for a relatively long time, but those sitting on her left were not, because the people sitting on that side had been shown how her head had been smashed open like a watermelon or pomegranate and could even see inside her. So in this episode, Kinzo showcases his magical abilities to sacrifice a majority of his family.
夏日か。最後まで運のない女だ。次
00射撃
In the same way 00 scratched the empty air to ready her bow and fired, just like the golden arrow 410 had released, it flew around and around at high speeds, drawing a convoluted trail, after which, as he looked at Natsuhi in shock, it smashed half of Rudolph's head in the same way, killing him instantly. This time, everyone did not stop thinking altogether. They realized that a terrible murder had been carried out right in front of them according to Kinzo's words, and they understood that Kinzo would probably kill again. Shrill screams burst out. Even now, they still didn't know what to do, so they could only keep screaming and flapping their wide open mouths like goldfish.
お父様、これは何の真似です。
アホはよ逃げるや
As Eva asked Kinzo that in total shock, Hideyoshi, who had come to his senses, had risen from his chair faster than anyone else, pulled at her arm from behind. However, merciless fate's choice for the third sacrifice was Hideyoshi. Just like the two before him, half of Hideyoshi's head was nearly smashed. And the right side of his head, which happened to be facing that direction at the time, was blown away, chunks of its contents thrown everywhere like a watermelon or a pomegranate. So still holding Eva, Hideyoshi toppled backwards and fell down. Still held by her beloved husband, Eva fell over backwards with him. Eva screamed, and who could blame her? The face she had been looking for had been half lost, and the crushed skull, the squelchly exposed brain, and the crushed jaw were all bare.
45着弾命中
見事だ。続けて撃て。残りは3人であるぞ。
お父さん、これは何の真似です。
Kraus stood up forcefully and was about to rush Kinzo when 00 blocked him. Despite her slender-looking body, she held back Kraus's body with just the palm of her right hand. He still tried to resist and attack Kinzo, so 00 lifted Kraus up by the collar and twisted into his Adam's apple with her thumb. It seemed to be very painful, and Kraus was overcome with agony.
みんな逃げろ。警察を救急はあ、早く皆さん逃げましょう。逃げるんだ。
Nanjo's sharp words finally broke the spell that had been holding them down in their chairs. As Golda and Kumasawa made a mad scramble to escape from the dining hall, 410 teleported to that spot, blocking the way.
にひ、すっとろいに。逃がすと思ったかに。
お助け
ゴーダさん、伏せて。
At the sound of Kirie's sharp voice, Goda in a state of complete confusion ducked. Then, a burst of air rushed above his head. Kirie had taken a big swing with a chair to mow 410 down. But 410, still wearing a contemptuous expression, easily caught that widely swung chair with one hand. I was actually wondering what happened to Kirie after all this.
おっかない女だに。旦那の後がそんなに追いたい？
From the sleeve of the arm that she had used to catch the chair, something like a shining golden snake appeared. Coiled itself around the chair and with a huge crunch burst into splinters. It was a fearsome power, far stronger than any vice. When Kirie realized that the being in front of her, which looked like a girl, was actually a being that surpassed human knowledge and with which human could not even begin to oppose, her head was filled with a great alarm bell that welled up from inside her. Even with the scene like this before their eyes, Genji, Shannon, and Kanon, the servants permitted to wear the one-winged eagle, continued to stand calmly at attention by the wall, making them look very bizarre and eerie. For an instant, Kirie thought that the source of their calmness was that they were with the enemy and had been guaranteed that they wouldn't be killed. But no sooner had she thought that than the sight of Genji's face was blown away before her eyes.
源氏さん。
45着弾命中。
ほほう、源氏め、これは運が悪い。安らかに眠れ、我が友よ。そなたの死は無駄にはならぬぞ。我が愛しき魔女復活の重要なる13の鍵の一つとなるのだから。
The half of Genji's expression that remained was as indifferent as ever. He tilted, fell in a heap, and sent a blood-red splatter out across the floor.
源氏様。
僕たちなんて所詮は魔女の駒なんだ。所詮。
From the meek and frustrated, no, resigned expressions on Shannon and Kanon's faces, you couldn't feel any naive expectations that they would be saved. That's right. Kinzo was, in the truest sense, carrying out these murders at random. In the truest sense, he was killing like it was a game to see who would be saved and who would be killed.
さて、次は誰を狙うかに。
410 looked at Kirie for a second. In that second, Kirie prepared for her own death. But once she had readied her golden bow in midair, 410 looked at someone else over Kirie's shoulder. So, as shameless as it was, Kirie sensed that she had been saved. Again, an ugly sound of something cracking and exploding rang throughout the room. Who was it this time? When Kirie turned in the direction of the sound, she saw Ava collapse into her husband's chest, gushing blood like a fountain. Of course, her face was half smashed just like her husband's. 410 had mercilessly targeted Ava as she clung to her husband's body, sobbing.
兄さんを離して。兄さんを離しなさい。もうやめて、お父様。こんな残酷なことはもうやめて。
逃げろ、ローズ。
Rosa's protestations weren't reaching Kinzo as he continued to laugh loudly in the blood-splattered dining hall. Nor was she able to lessen Kras's pain as 00 lifted him up by the collar. So Rosa had no choice but to use force. She raised one of the chairs beside her over her head and gave a warning.
お父様、兄さんを離すように命令して。もうこんなことをやめさせて。
できぬな。それを望むならば、お前の自らの力で阻止するがよい。自らの運命は自らの手で切り開け。常 常に誰かの背に隠れ怯えてきたお前に宿る人生最後の国旗を見せてみよう。
お父様。
The chair that Rosa had lifted up swung down at the father who had reigned as a symbol of terror for her entire life. It was the greatest and final act of bravery and self-mastery in Rosa's life. Kinzo might have been right. If she had grasped that courage much sooner, her life might have been more free, unrestrained by anyone else. Then a loud bursting sound. The sound of Rosa's chair fiercely hitting Kinzo, it was not. Still lifting up the chair, she nearly lost half of her head and fell with a thud. While still holding Kraus up in one hand, Double O had stuck her other hand out towards Rosa. The golden stake released from that arm had constricted Rosa in a helix and chewed a hole through her head.
防衛射撃。資金団の無礼をお詫びするであります。
構わん。これで6人であるか。
はい、ゴールドスミス卿。これで6人であります。
After declaring this with indifference, Double O lets go of Kraus, who she had been lifting up this whole time.
第一の番の生贄はエヴァにルドルフにローザ、夏日、秀吉、そして源氏であるか。
It was a massacre that happened in an instant. The interior of the dining hall was dirty with blood splatter, and the 6 unlucky victims lay with their heads brutally exposed. Fittingly, it was Kinzo's abnormal laugh alone that echoed in that abnormal space.
いよいよに幕を開けたぞ。ベアトリーチェを蘇らせる儀式の始まりだ。運よく第一の番を逃れた者たちに我が友人たちを紹介しようではないか。いでよ、我が友よ、ロノウェ。
When Kinzo called Ronov's name, the demon butler appeared out of thin air, bowing deeply and respectfully.
皆様方、はじめまして。そして、ご無沙汰の皆様におかれましてはごきげんよう。これはまた派手に散らかされましたようで。
よいわ。我が白チュームのごとき日々を覚ますにはこの程度の刺激が必要だ。紹介しよう。我が友人であり頼れる執事であり72柱の大悪魔であるロノウェだ。
以後お見知りおきを。
Just who was he aiming that introduction at? Kraus and Kide were still down on their backsides, and Nanjo and Goda and Kumasawa could only look up in shock at this middle-aged gentleman who they had never met before. Only Shannon and Kanon seemed to recognize him, and they bowed deeply.
源氏には挨拶が叶いませんでしたか。せめて苦痛なく役目を終えられたなら良いのですが。
頭部直撃弾にて即死でした。普通を味わう暇もありません。
そうですか。結構です。
続けて友を紹介しよう。いでよ、我が友ワルギリア。
Once again, the figure of someone unknown to the relatives appeared out of thin air. She appeared in an elegant dress while greeting them gracefully.
召喚を感謝します、親方様。許されるならば、このような血生臭き場に呼び出されたくはありませんでしたが。
こやつも紹介しよう。我が友であり、頼れる相談役でもあるワルギリアだ。
Alright everyone, I'm gonna end the video here for today. Thank you all for watching. looks like we already learned that Kinzo, or at least in this particular episode, had no qualms killing a majority of his family members to complete parts of the ritual yet again. So, if anything else, we'll continue on in the next one. So thank you all for watching.